Hi guys, thank you for joining me today on another great video. I want to discuss with you a vulnerability that I've identified in one of the plugins that a lot of blogs and websites uses. So I'm going to show you where the vulnerability is and then how you're going to fix that vulnerability. So if you're interested in this, just stay tuned. My name is Victor from easycodinglab.com. Some time ago, not too long ago, I received an email from someone who watches my video, and the summary of the email was that his site has been hacked, but then he doesn't know how to fix the issue. So he wants to get in touch with me to see if I can assist to fix the issue. And I opted to assist because I wanted to learn something. It's an opportunity for me to learn something new. So I opted to assist the guy. I got into contact with the guy. I saw the hacked website, and then we decided to research into the vulnerability together. And fortunately, we were able to see what the vulnerability was, and we were able to fix it. So what I learned out of that research is what I want to share with you. And I know that plugin is a popular plugin that about 70 to 80 websites or blogs are using that particular plugin. And that is what I want to enlighten you about. I want you to, if you're using that plugin in your website or blog, I want you to go back and then go and cross-check whether you have that vulnerability or you don't. And if you do, how are you going to fix it? So just stay tuned. So the plugin that I'm referring to is a plugin called Kcfinder. It's a plugin that is used to upload images on blogs and websites. But the lower version, the 5.1, the 2.51, 2.52, and 2.53 have this vulnerability. It allows shell script to be uploaded onto your site or your blog, and a whole havoc can be caused to your blog or website through that particular vulnerability. So if you have that particular plugin in your website or blog, then this is for you. In the course of our research, I was able to come across vulnerable sites like that, and I'm going to use that to demonstrate where the vulnerability is and then how you're going to fix it. So I'm going to share my screen and then show you where the vulnerability is, and then we'll try to fix it. So let me first show you a vulnerable site that I came across and then where the vulnerability was. In the first place, there shouldn't be any directory listed over here. The plugin or the blog shouldn't allow you to list the content of any directory. So this is the first vulnerability that was identified. And then secondly, when you click on the browse.php, so it opens the image handler, the image manager for you without any access. Normally, I'm not supposed to have access to this because I'm not an admin. So if I have access to this, then it's a vulnerability. It's a place that someone can exploit to cause havoc to your blog or your site. So with something like this, I can go ahead and then rename this file. I can go ahead and then delete this file. I can do whatever that I want to this particular file. And where the vulnerability, the serious vulnerability is, the risky part of it is to have access to this upload button. So this is where they go. If you click on the upload button, it allows you to upload an image. But under normal circumstances, it's supposed to process only image files. So for instance, it's supposed to process either IMG, PNG, GIF. Your only image extensions should be allowed, but then it's able to pick shell scripts, which is very dangerous. So I can upload a shell script over here and can cause a whole havoc to this particular blog or website. So, and what I was talking about, the version, this particular site is using the lower version of this Kcfinder plugin. So as I told you earlier on, it's using version 2.51, which is vulnerable. Version 2.52 is also vulnerable. Version 2.53 is also vulnerable. But the latter ones, that vulnerability has been fixed. All right, so let me go ahead and also show you another site that has blocked this particular loophole, that you can't have access to manipulate their files like this. Okay, so this is another site that is less vulnerable. But then in the first place, it shouldn't also even allow you to list the directory over here. But that is not much of a great worry. So let's try to go to the browse.php over here. You see, it doesn't allow you, you do not have permission to browse this server. So this wouldn't allow you to browse the images and then the files in your directory. So this wouldn't allow you, as compared to this that allows you to do all that. So to fix this, you should control who have access to this particular file by using your session. So when an admin on your blog or your website logs into your back end, that is when this should be enabled for your admin to be able to upload whatever image that your admin is supposed to upload. But once your admin logs out from your back end, the access to this should also be restricted. So I'm going to show you how you use your session to control this. And then, first of all, you need to download the latest version of Kcfinder and then use it. Go to your web root. If you have the lower version, go and delete all files of the lower version. Do not leave any traces. Do not leave any file. Delete everything and then go and download the latest file of Kcfinder and then set it up. And I'm going to show you how you can modify the config file to pick whoever has logged in your section. So you can go to the GitHub repository for Kcfinder to download the latest version. I'll put the link in the description area of this video. So if you go there, you have the latest version. The latest version is like 3.12, which is very stable. That vulnerability of being able to upload a shell script has been fixed. So you are safe using this in your application. So I've already downloaded a copy of the latest version of Kcfinder. This is my version that I've downloaded. So let's go, this is where you make the changes. So open the folder and then go into the conf folder and then open the config.php. Inside the config.php, this is actually what is controlling who has access and who does not. So if you turn this to false, means that anybody at all, if you turn this to false, what it means is that anybody at all can have access to this directory without the person logging in. So so if you turn that that accessibility, if you turn that accessibility, this disabled to false, what is happening is that whoever have access to this URL, when the person browses, will have access to your directory. But then if you turn it to true, it disables it. So if you turn it to true, it disables it. it disables it so that when anybody refreshes or go back to that particular directory or browses the URL, it gives the person access denied. So how can we control this dynamically from the session? So what you do is to start your session in the config.php. So you do your session, starts. So once you do your session start, at this stage, I presume that you already know how to control your login and you already have a login. So once the user logs into your application, the user's username and user credentials are stored in session. So once you start a session over here, you can retrieve the user's credential. And then you can do an if statement over here to control who has access and who doesn't. So you can do an if $_session. Then if the variable that holds your username in session is username, then you bring it over here. So you can do if it's set. So if this is set, then let's create a variable called disable. Now let's make it false. So if it's set, then we disable that accessibility functionality. Else, then this is true. And then we change this from static to variable. So what this is happening is that when someone logs in, the session username variable will be set. So once this is set, the disabled item over here will be false. And once it's false, means that you now have access to upload your document at the back end. Once you log out, it changes to true and access is denied. So nobody can have access to it when the person uses the URL to try and browse your file, your image manager. So even if you are logged in and you have access to it, because it's using your session variable, no other person will be able to use it from any other location. Whoever have access to your URL from even a different computer, that person will not be able to have access to your image manager. So you can do this to control who have access and then who doesn't. And one additional thing that you can even do to restrict access, should somebody even by any chance, which is should even have access to your images, what you can also do is that by default, when you upload the image, it goes into the upload folder. So this is the upload folder that I'm talking about. This is the folder that will contain all the images that you have uploaded. So the latest version has an 80 access, which restricts directory listing. So this wouldn't even allow a directory listing. But let's say someone has been able to list your directory and then have access to it. So you can use, instead of uploading it into the default upload folder, you can put the username of the person who is uploading an image over here. So once the image is uploaded and a folder is created with the username of the person who logged in, and then the image is going to upload into that particular folder. So it is cool to do this to also add an extra security to whatever that you are doing. So in a nutshell, this is the little thing that you can do to restrict access to your file manager and then to fix that vulnerability that we're talking about. So to wrap up, let me just summarize what I've discussed. So first, you need to download the latest version of Kcfinder and then upload it into your documents and then set it up. Delete every trace of the old Kcfinder in your application and then replace it with the latest version. And then change the upload folder to the username of the person who has logged in, and then use a session variable to control whoever have access to the image manager or who doesn't have access to the image manager. Hope this has been insightful. If you have any question, can you send me an email at victor@easycodinglab.com. Thank you for watching and see you in another video.